Hey, what's up, fam? Super excited for today's podcast. We have Nate Roodell with Great American Concrete Coatings out of Las Vegas. We're going to be taking the deep dive into a brand new startup residential floor coatings company, bringing it in for a couple of years, going through COVID and beyond. This is going to be really impactful if you're looking to get in the business. Stay tuned. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another amazing episode of Beyond the Crete podcast. Super excited for today's guest, personal friend of mine from Las Vegas. So guys, without further ado, let's welcome Nathan Roodell with Great American Concrete Coatings to the podcast.
Pete, great to be here, buddy. Thanks for having me.
No, absolutely. So guys, we always talk about the three subjects, right? So that's always the past, the present, and the future, dealing with business growth. So we're going to dive deep into Las Vegas, right? So everything with weather and the challenges of the heat, and then of course, business and competition and everything that Nate's doing to succeed out in a challenging environment. So without further ado, Nate's on the podcast. Nate, let's give a 2-minute bio. Who are you?
My name is Nathan Roodell. I am the owner of Great American Concrete Coating, owner-operator. I'm currently wearing all hats. Started this business a few years back in 2021. Got introduced to Pete and Valence Protective Coatings. And, just after talking to Pete real quick, awesome dude. Felt very comfortable working with him. So we kind of got together and showed me some things in his products, and he has guided me with some phenomenal tech support. And every time my phone rings, he picks it up and gives me an answer to what I need. And just been out here trying to make the best of what I can do out here.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So guys, we're going to dive into that. And if we look at that, for being in business since 2021, right? So that's COVID times. And then now we're going to obviously transitioning out of COVID and what that is. So we're going to get into that. But, in the past, like, what made you want to get into coatings?
Not wanting to be doing what I was doing. I mean,
That's the right answer.
Working in a corporate setting, I just wasn't happy anymore. I had no sense of satisfaction at the end of the day, and really wanted to get back to working with my hands and having a reaction from people at the end of the day to see what we had done and how we've improved their situation. Take great satisfaction in other people being happy. So have a friend who's in coatings in Wisconsin, kind of talk to him a little bit, and here we are.
That it's unique. I mean, everybody asks me too, like, how the hell did you get into coatings? And I'm like, well, you probably don't want to know, or I don't even really know, right? Like, it's been a long time, but you just kind of get into it and then you just enjoy it. So, all right. So when you first started, obviously it was COVID times, right? Challenging times for everybody. When you look at a business standpoint, trying to get leads, get people that you can actually do an in-home estimate with, close them, and then actually do an in-home, installation, right? So the challenges you started with were a lot more than most people say they start today, just based off of human interaction with the government or the way the world was burning at the time. How did you actually kind of overcome some of those challenges to actually start pretty much immediately with a thriving, growing business?
It wasn't easy, Pete. This city was completely shut down, which in my wildest dreams, I never thought I would see Las Vegas closed, right? This city was closed. And it was very challenging. A lot of people wanted to do things virtually, and having just getting going in this business, that was kind of a challenge for me, because I was supposed to be out there checking floors and getting eyes on things. And so just trying to adapt, find out what people were comfortable with, and just making it work. Some people were still cool with us coming out and giving in-home estimates. Other people's were not. They wanted it virtual, and that's it. They didn't even want to see us when we came there to do the install. So it was definitely a challenge. It was a very slow start. I'm not going to lie, incredibly slow. I got my contractor's license in October of 21. So not only was it COVID, but we were also going right into the holidays. So it was a very, very slow beginning, but into 2022, after we got through, say, February, things really started picking up, and just been rocking and rolling since.
Yeah. So I have a question on that, because when you go through COVID, or people want over the phone estimates or ballparks, right? Let's kind of touch on that real quick, because ballparks, because back then you didn't have to do it, but kind of were forced to in a small way, right? I mean, realistically, and now you don't have to, but some people do. So what do you see the difference, right? So if you did ballparks back in 2021, because you kind of had to, and then today you're like, I'll still do them or I won't do them. Like, what's your view on that?
I'm still trying to find that right answer, Pete.
Okay.
Some people, this is a very transient town. So trying to sell a 15-year warranty and things like that, some people just aren't interested in that.
Mhm.
Literally all people want to know is, what is the price? I don't care about anything else. What is the price? And for those people, after I give them a little rundown of what we do, the products that we're using, and the warranties that we provide, the preparation for the installation, right? Then I'll kind of give them a wide ranging ballpark. Our 2-car garages range from 350 feet to 500 feet, right? So I can give that wide ballpark figure. It could be as low as this, it could be as high as this.
Mhm.
I really try not to do ballparks over the phone, but some people are just adamant about it. And why am I going to waste my time driving all the way across the city for someone that's absolutely not going to drop $2,500 on a floor? So again, I'm trying to find that balance of when to do it, when not to do it. Is it right? Is it not right? Well, at this point in time, for where I'm at and the amount of time that I have in a day, I have found that sometimes giving a ballpark is what I have to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because I mean, we've heard it before from some people that say if they have a pulse, run the lead. We've heard it where they say, "Hey, it's X price and take it or leave it." Maybe shoot me a picture and I'll show up on X date and complete it. Right. So it's unique when you talk to everybody about it, because obviously I have my own views about it. And I think you kind of nailed it on the head there, where you got to be fluid realistically, because every customer is different. And I think I'm kind of doing some personal sales coaching and or getting coached personally on some sales stuff, and it's unique because you listen to their script and it's every time it's the same, right? Well, then you go to the next module and it's like, well, you got to be fluid, because your script you were saying 6 months ago needs to change because it's not working today. So I don't think there's a right answer to that, to be honest.
See, I
So
don't necessarily have a script per se. I mean, I have bullet points that I like to hit with people, but I like to kind of try to make a connection with people over the phone. How can we relate on a personal level and kind of break down a wall that way? Comes from many years of bartending. You just get to learn people. You learn how you can connect with them and relate to them, and maybe break down some of those walls that they've put up. And before you know it, you're somebody's friend. And once someone trusts you and believes in what you're doing and your products and whatnot, then the number is just a number.
right.
If they trust you and have full faith in your ability and your products, they're going to pay your price. And that's something I've learned,
Yeah. Well,
over.
and something that, we can touch on later, but literally the module coaching thing that I did this morning was about experience. And the thing was like, hey, I went in to go buy X product, or my budget was, say, $100. And then the salesman is like, oh, well, you could have this one for $200. You don't need it, but look at it. It's amazing, right? And you bought off of that emotion and that experience because he got sold. And it wasn't in his budget, but he figured it out, and then it was a jacket, and now he's got a beautiful jacket. So people buy when you sell that, and that's what I want to talk about now, is that experience, right? So what does it look like for you guys starting from the beginning, right? So where's your lead generation, right? Where's your leads typically come from, and how are you kind of nurturing them to start the initial buy-in from your customer to all the way through when you have to get in front of them for an estimate?
So most of our leads are coming from Facebook.
Mhm.
We use Contractor Click. Danny and Maddie, those guys have been absolutely phenomenal with us. So I would say probably 90% of our leads come through our Facebook landing page. We do get some leads from Yelp and Google, and we're now starting to get referrals, word of mouth. We've been in the game long enough, and people
Mhm.
have seen our work, that referrals are starting to come through for us. But when someone reaches out, we thank them for contacting us, give them a few little bullet points of, this is polyurea versus epoxy, and then I start with questions, start to try to create a conversation with them.
Mhm.
Do you know the size of your garage? Do you have XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And just kind of start, letting them know that, I can give you a ballpark, but it's much better if I come out, I see your floor, I can show you the things that I'm looking for. I can take some polyurea in my hand and stretch it, and you can see how awesome these products are and why you want to use this versus an epoxy that I can snap and crumble right in front of your face and leave it in crumbs. So once you can show people that, and they can physically take this piece of polyurea and stretch it, you see the excitement on their face.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people, by the time I leave, they're so excited to schedule that install that it just that flow, the excitement is building prior to us getting there. And the day we get there, they're ready to rock and roll. Hey, you guys need some coffee? Let's get this rocking.
Yeah.
And it's a fun experience the whole way through.
Yeah. Yeah. You get me excited just talking about it. Because I mean, again, you're engaging, right? So I mean that's positive. Mindset and attitude again, right? So confidence and everything. So now currently, it's gonna be summer out in Vegas, right? So it's gonna be 130. I lived close to there for a while, so it's gonna get hot. Products, could act different. Concrete obviously acts different at 130. And now, like, what are you typically seeing or doing during the summer? Are you doing anything different in the summer months than you doing in the winter months? Are you slower in the summer than the winter? We move into this season, what are you seeing?
So the first year was hard to gauge, right? Last year, as our seasons changed, so did the projects we were working on, right? We don't ever really stop here. We're very fortunate enough that we don't have that cold winter like you have in the Midwest. I grew up in Wisconsin. I get it. I don't ever want to be that cold in my life.
Yep.
So we're very fortunate. We have seasons. So winter and spring, everyone's doing patios. Spring and summer, we get more garages. And in the summer months, it's not existing garages, it's a lot of new construction. People that are moving in, they want to get their garages done before they move into the house because let's face it, when it's 115, 120 degrees, you're not going out to clean your garage. I'm not going out to clean mine. So we're not getting those jobs. We're getting new construction, or we will do some patios as long as they're covered.
Sure.
We've clocked concrete at 160 degrees.
Oh my God.
And you try to put a coating on that and it just bubbles. So we can't obviously work in conditions like that. So this summer when it gets that hot, we may just take a 2-week hiatus and take a little break, give the guys a break. Everyone needs some family time and rock and roll that way. We'll see how the year goes.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's important too for diversification, right? So either product offerings or even the diversification between residential and commercial, right? So for us up here, we do basements and commercial work in the winter time, right? So we're snowy, we're winter, nobody's moving it out when it's -30. So we're on the opposite end where you're at. So do you transition to commercial? I know you do commercial because I mean I know you personally, but I mean like you seeing that's going to uptick, right? Because Vegas is growing, right? It's astronomically huge. It seems like a different casino pops up every damn day, or they're blowing up something to build another one, right? And like the commercial side of things is out there. So are you tackling that the same, more aggressive, or what are you doing there?
I'm not going to lie. We do not pursue a lot of big commercial jobs. We're still a very small company. I mean, right now it's me and one other guy. I know you and I have touched on this a lot, Pete. I've got major trust issues. So I'm trying to put together a team that I can finally trust to go get things done so I can remove myself from that aspect of the business, working on the business, not in it, right? And going and starting to make more of those connections where I can start getting into some more commercial work. And I have a team that's qualified to go tackle that stuff. We have tackled some commercial jobs, 2,000-3,000 square feet. We've had our issues with them. We've overcome them, but we don't really pursue a lot of big commercial jobs. There's some big dogs in town that tackle all that. They've got huge crews. They can get in, get out. So our commercial jobs have been on the smaller side.
Well, I think that's good, honestly. And I would spin that in a positive way to say that it doesn't matter necessarily the size of the company, because yes, I wouldn't want to go do the terrazzo polishing at the Blue or whatever we were at for World of Concrete, right? Like, it's just not what I wouldn't do it either. But you spin that in a positive, say, hey, like, look what we're doing on the residential side to create that experience, right? Like, I'm the owner operator. Like, obviously there's a team behind you, but you're small enough where now you know your focus and your avenue of approach, and you're creating that buy-in from the customer. We're not, hey, we're running in 37 directions. So I think it's a positive, honestly.
Yeah, we've been very focused on tackling the residential side. Uh, I know I spoke to you when we first started this ordeal. I want to wrap my head around all of this installation side of things, understand the products, the situations we run into, so that when I am able to remove myself from being on installs, I can still answer those questions, but still be effectively doing what I need to do to grow this business to where it needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, agreed. I think that's important to be able to kind of give that customer that experience and know, kind of exactly where you are because you're focused, right? So, I mean, I think that's big. And honestly, I think there's a lot of people that are going to listen to this that are in your exact same boat. They can relate to a smaller company, a smaller crew. You can do a GC's job for 2,000 square feet. It is what it is, but you can't handle 20,000 in order you want to. And I think a lot of people are in your same boat, feeling your same pain with hiring the top talent or the good talent and the trust, everything you've touched on. I think there's gonna be a lot of people that can relate to that because, I know for a fact there is, but you personally know this, and because I talk about it all the time, right? Consistency and discipline over time wins, right? So, and Mike tells me this every time. So Mike's one of our sales guys, and I always go to Mike and I say, Mike, just stack small wins. And if you stack small wins, eventually the building gets bigger, right? And so that's what it is. It's stacking wins in the residential side for you, right? Now you're getting referrals, cut your lead cost right down. Now you got a name, right? So it's huge. So I do want to talk about that actually. Great American Concrete Coatings, the logo, your branding. How important is your branding or the message that you're conveying to your customers?
It's absolutely everything. When I started, when we came and got trained, I had a completely different logo. It was something that I had snagged off the internet, slapped a name around it, and called it a day. And it wasn't long after we started that I reached out to a company that designs logos and whatnot. We had a little discussion about what our company represents, what I want represented in this logo, what it means to me, and what it should mean to people that see it. Right, we're fast, we're aggressive, our attention to detail, our return to service time, everything about this logo screams fast, accurate, and bitchin'. Right, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so it brought a level of legitimacy to this organization that didn't exist, to be honest with you. And like I literally I noticed the difference when
Wow.
people would call. And it's funny, being as small of a company as we are, we get our name out there enough, and people see this brand. And when they find out the overall number of people that are actually taking care of all this, they're floored. They're like, in not a million years would I think it's that few people. We portray ourselves to be, we want people to trust us, right? This is an organization that's got it together, getting it done, and delivering quality.
Yeah.
And this logo has made a huge difference. You can ask my niece and nephew; they don't see me wearing any other shirts. My nephew actually just came and cleaned out my closet the other day because I don't wear any other shirts anymore. It's always, everywhere I go, I'm rocking a Great American shirt.
Yeah.
And I've had people in line behind me at Walmart take a picture of the back of my shirt, want the phone number. I mean, it's huge.
So it's funny. Back to my coaching thing was omnipresent, right? Be omnipresent, be everywhere, but only in one spot, right? Like, I mean, that's what it is. That's branding, and messaging. Now, um, you got your trailer wrapped, obviously, right? So that was a big deal. So again, branding goes beyond just a website or a t-shirt. Like, branding is everything anywhere being omnipresent. So are you seeing value in a trailer wrap, your truck wrap, like lead generation? Is that part of it?
When that trailer's parked in a driveway and the neighbors are driving by it's huge. They don't even have to get out of the car and talk if they don't want to. You know, people are always in a hurry. There's a very fast moving city. Everyone's always in a hurry to get somewhere. Maybe they see you, they don't have time to engage you at the moment, but to be able to snap a picture of that trailer or a QR code that's on it, and they can scan that and have instant access to what we're doing, how to get a hold of us, how to proceed down that avenue. Yes, it's huge. I've got a couple other contractors in town that I've made friends with. They see us coming a half a block away. By the time we pass them on the road, they're honking a horn, flashing the lights. That trailer is a moving billboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Screams at
yeah,
you. I know that.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's branding, right? So that's awesome. So, now obviously being in Vegas, you kind of got a little bit of advantage with the World of Concrete being out there. I guess my question is, how important is continually educating yourself or gaining more insight on anything, right? Doesn't matter if it's just business or diamonds or whatever it is, right? So again, I know you've been to the World of Concrete a couple of times, seen all that. We've been to some classes. What are you doing to continually educate yourself or to move yourself 1% better every day?
I'm always trying to learn something new, whether it's a new system to install, a new method of going about how to do something, tools we can use. I'm always trying to, I tell people I'm a sponge. Like, I just try to soak it all in, decipher what's what, and how can we use this to benefit what we're doing? How can we get faster? How can we get better? So I'm always trying to catch seminars. Went to the mastermind that you had in Dallas, the concrete coating mastermind. Phenomenal event. Anyone who's even on the fence about going to that next year, do yourself a favor, go book your tickets. You won't regret it. Just being in a room with people of that caliber who have grown and scaled and seen and done everything. These people have forgotten more things than I'll probably ever learn, right? Bob Harris and just Isaiah Pride, people that have been just absolutely rocking this industry.
Yeah.
To just be around those people and feel their energy and learn what they've done. Access to people like that is priceless.
Yeah.
So if you get an opportunity, I was so on the fence about going to Dallas. It was a last minute decision, made it happen. And I'm telling you, I'm so happy that I did, because my focus this year is growth. And with growth comes consistency, right? You got to be consistent if you're going to have growth. And that was keyed on a lot at that convention and the people that I had conversations with after that event. And so, yeah, anything you can do to put yourself in a situation where you can learn whatever it is, man, take advantage of it, even if it's not ideal at the moment.
It's never going to feel ideal, right? So I mean, there's the saying, right? Get comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's just what business life is. And I'm trying to teach my kids the same way, because they just think life is comfortable and it looks pretty, and it ain't like that.
Running definitely not comfortable. If you like getting kicked, if you call getting kicked in the nuts comfortable, sure, this is a super comfortable thing to do, but
every day,
you know,
every hour, every minute. Yep. It's just coming from a
something.
different angle. Yep.
And then when you put out all the fires, it's like four more pop up. It's never, if you're thinking that it's going to be a smooth road every day, man, throw that right out the window.
Yeah, entrepreneurship's not for everybody. And again, that's why discipline and consistency over time stack small wins. Okay. So first, thanks for saying all that about the mastermind. Shameless plug. Obviously, we are doing that again next year. It's not about the company. It's not about me personally. It's about uniting the industry. So we're actually changing the tagline from "We bring leaders together" to "We're uniting the industry." Because it's not about products. It's not about who you buy from or who's your sales rep for your grinder. It's literally, how can you learn from these people that have mentioned in marketing and installation, and just 35 years of Bob Harris's knowledge of traveling the world training people to how you're going to grow your business. So if you guys have any questions about that, you can comment down below or reach out to me. That's my shameless plug. But I appreciate you coming.
And if I can take that even a step further, not even the access to the people of the high caliber that are in that room, but the other people that are in the same exact shoes that you
Oh
or
yeah.
I are in, right? Like to be able to sit down and talk to somebody who's in the exact same spot you're in. All right, what are you doing to overcome your challenges?
Right.
What working for you? How can I maybe take some of your ideas and you can take some of my ideas and we can both benefit from it. So it's not always just access to those top tier guys. It's the guy you're sitting right next to who's in the exact same boat that you're in. Or maybe he's that next step above you. And hey, I'm having a really hard time getting over this hump right here. What did you do that worked for you? And taking that information, even from a guy who's on the same level, is
Yeah.
priceless. It's
Yeah.
priceless.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to bring this up. We don't got to get into the details, but collaboration over competition, right? What was it like for you to talk to your competition, and how did that go?
So I've got one guy here in town who's the big dog for residential polyurea coatings, right? He's been in it for almost 7 years now, and they're slaying the game. They really are. They're doing a great job. They do great work. They've got a good product, uh, and I got to meet the owners for the first time at World of Concrete. They were literally sitting at the end of the table from you and I,
Yeah.
and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It wasn't hey, you're my competitor and I'm going to try to squish you. The very first thing we both said to each other was, what can we do to elevate the game in this town? I know you're doing good work. We're doing good work. What can we do to get rid of these $3 a square foot, $4 a square foot guys to start commanding the prices that we should be getting because we're doing the quality of work that we're doing, right? And with the quality of the products that we're using. So it was great. And it's actually going to allow me the opportunity to get into some more commercial work
Mm.
because, we've agreed that, hey, if you got a project too big or I got a project too big, let's work together and we can get this done together. I ran into another competitor of mine out on a bid one day, bid a big commercial project. And it was great. Hey, let's sit down and have lunch. He's been in town for 30 years.
Wow.
He's he knows this city,
Yeah.
willing to sit down and talk. And he loves doing driveways and pool decks. I don't necessarily like doing pool decks a whole lot. So he hates garages. So maybe I'll throw him some pool decks. He can throw me garages, right?
Yes.
You got the things you like. I've got the things we like. They're different. Let's help each other. I'll throw you work, you throw me work. So having competition, yeah, it's going to be there. But if you can make friends with those people and work together to elevate everybody that's at your level, doing the quality work. I'm not talking about these guys that are going to Home Depot and buying DIY kits, right? You found them on Facebook Marketplace. I don't even stress about those guys
Yep.
anymore. Do you remember when I first started? I was, this guy's $3, right? I
Yeah.
don't even care about those people
Yep.
anymore. They are what they are. In fact, I actually had one of those guys reach out and ask me for a job the other day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, meet your competition, become friends with them, put their phone number in your phone, and you never know when one of you might need something. And it's always good to have a frenemy, if you will.
Yeah.
Your best friend. You're still in competition, but you can still help each other, and in turn, that elevates the whole game.
100%. And we do it a lot on the distribution side. At least that's what we try to do, obviously. And again, we've sponsored some of our competitors' events. They've sponsored our event. We've worked together. There was competitors at the Mastermind. I didn't look at it like that. People are like, "Why are you having so and so there?" I was like, "Because he's a business owner and he wanted to help out and raise the industry. I don't look at him as a competitor. He's a guy trying to run a business, and there's enough meat on the bone for everybody." And we work together and we'll still talk, and I think that's huge. So you guys got a lot of momentum going right now, honestly. So to keep that momentum going, what is your plan for the future realistically? So we start kind of talking, transitioning from what you guys are kind of crushing it today, working with your competitors or whatever, and then like going forward without giving away all your secrets of what you're going to do in the future. What do you got coming for 2024 and beyond?
Jeff Pierce will pound this into your head. It's all about mindset, right? And that's last year was a pretty rough year. Uh, Lots of setbacks, speed bumps, whatever you want to call them, kicks in the dick. It's about getting my mind right and having that mindset of trucking forward, putting that cow catcher on the front of this train and running over everyone that tries to get in the way. Building a team that sees my vision for the future, getting a guy, they always say you got to clone yourself, right? And you'll never get a complete clone of yourself, but if you can get 80% of someone 100% of the time, that's a good thing. Yes. Right? Listen to the E-Myth. They'll tell you that. So, and that's something that I'm focusing on, right? Letting go. That's a huge thing for me. I have to breathe and let go and put some faith and trust in some other people, because trying to wear all the hats, if you want to stay stuck at this level, yeah, you can wear all the hats. You can be married to a job. You can go out and you can do your installs 4 days a week and try to sell on the weekends. But man, that's not my goal this year. I'm trying to take that next step where we have a qualified team that can go do the work. I can handle the sales and focus on more of the things, the systems, the processes, knowing my numbers, all the things that I've been lacking on, and I'll take full responsibility for it. I've been so busy trying to get work done that I let some of that other stuff slip. And this year it's about getting my mind right, getting focused on consistency, and using that consistency to stack those wins and keep the momentum rolling.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I couldn't really say much better than that. But I guess I am going to ask the question of building a team and being a leader, right? So we know that hiring is challenging. It's been challenging since COVID. It's not really getting much better. And people just ask for $1 million and they put in freaking $4 worth of work. What are you seeing with guys? What is the market out there for Vegas and labor and getting people? Are you getting qualified leads, or is it shit like everywhere else?
It's tough. I mean, it really, you talk to people, you can interview them. I had a guy show me a portfolio of work, right? Says, I did all this work in Texas, asked him questions about, what kind of system is this? What did you do here? Blah, blah, blah. Day one, this dude shows up wearing Crocs and like, okay. And out of X amount of jobs that he was supposed to be at, he showed up for a third of them. It's kind of like what you were just saying. People want $40 an hour for a $20 an hour job, and they want to give you $10 an hour effort.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's been very challenging, being that I am the other installer on the crew, getting people to keep up. I'll give you some time to learn what you got to do if you need to be trained from the word go. But then once you kind of learn it, now start picking up speed. I am no longer just taking anybody off the street. Like, I'm definitely looking for people that are at least experienced with epoxy. Tell me you can run a hand grinder and mix a bucket of product without me having to look over your shoulder all the time, right? Because that's huge. Because again, I'm a control freak, and it's a major issue of mine, and that's why I'm the biggest roadblock in this company. And so, trying to find a guy that I can trust to go out, execute my vision. It's just a garage floor. I mean, let's face it, but it still has to be done right.
Yeah.
Every step of the process has to be done right. And so that's this year. I'm focused on that. I've got some awesome interviews coming up tomorrow and on Monday with some guys, and really just not taking just anybody off the street anymore, making sure people are qualified to do what they say they can do.
Well, I found that out too. It doesn't matter if you're distribution sales, that doesn't matter. But what do they always say, right? So like, hire slow, fire fast, right? So that's gonna bite you in the ass. That's, at least it has me, right? And just make sure that you know what you're doing. And then I always preach about, you attract right. So the vibes you put out are the vibes you're gonna get back, right? And I believe that too on the marketing side. If you're doing shit marketing, you're probably getting shit leads. Let's be honest about this. And so I believe that too on the company side. If you're a positive company that's branded and you have your company culture and you're out there and you're known for the company, you attract those type of people to you. Now, you still got to look and go find those people, but when you do it right, you typically find a higher quality person. That on the opposite side of that is those high quality people are getting really harder to find. And to create that buy-in where people want the $40 job for $20 and they're given 10, and realistically he showed up for 33% of the jobs, not even in the right uniform. So that's realistically, when you talk about, that was a high level guy who really showed some real low level shit. So that's common. So you're not alone in that. So keep pushing forward. I love the mindset side of things. So guys, we're going to kind of wrap up here with Nate. We really appreciate him coming on. He's crushing it out in Vegas. If you guys have any questions for Nate, his information will be in the description down below. But Nate, where can anybody reach you at?
You can reach me on my personal cell phone, 702-539-4026. You can go on our website. We have contact information there, gaccvegas.com. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Give us a like and a follow, see what we're doing. If you guys ever have any questions at all, I'm always happy to help out in any way I can. I may not answer the phone right away if I'm busy with a client or something, but always willing to share, the little information that I have. And if I can help you through a situation, man, it puts a smile on my face at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So that's another thing, guys. We know World of Concrete's coming up in January of next year. So let's remember this episode, save Nate's information so we can actually meet up next year at the World of Vegas, just so we can have some collaboration to expand your network. Doesn't matter who you are, what you sell, or what you install, just trying to link like-minded people together. So again, guys, if you have any questions for Nate, his information was just right there or in the description. If you have anything for me, everybody knows how to get a hold of me. If you guys have any questions about the Mastermind, that information will also be in the description below. But if you are in Vegas and if you guys want to learn from somebody from the ground up who's building a thriving business, make sure you contact Nate. If you guys want a high quality polyurea floor in Vegas, you need to contact Nate and get that scheduled. So again, Nate, I really appreciate you coming on. Any last final words?
No, I appreciate you having me, Pete. Again, you're a stand-up dude. I'm very grateful that our paths crossed and that I'm working with you. I couldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for not just you, but your wife, Melissa, Mike, the whole organization over there at Valence. You guys have been awesome. I appreciate it. The access to continued education, whether it's through Contractor Click, which, by the way, I'm going to give a little plug on that.
Sure.
Those guys are running a 12-month course. Just got into that. We have a call later today, teaching the systems, the processes. That's what I have failed to do. And it's funny because my buddy that got me into this told me that from the word go. Put your systems and your processes in place from day one. And 2 years later, 2.5 years later, I'm going back and I'm now finally starting to do that. So if you guys are having trouble growing and you really want to streamline the process and learn things that you don't know from people who've already done it, man, get a hold of Danny and Maddie Barrera at Contractor Click. Get on these coaching calls. Get a hold of Pete. If you guys are looking for a vendor, the most incredible products I've ever used. Not trying to give you a plug, but it's just the fact. They're awesome products. These guys have been phenomenal to us, and we appreciate everything you've done to help us grow.
Yeah, well, man, I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, obviously, huge shout out to Danny, Maddie, obviously personal friends of mine as well that I help out on the Contractor Click and the Coat Master Lab as well. So I'm looking forward to that call here in just actually a couple of hours. So yeah, I'm going to move on and start knocking out that so we can continue to grow and unite the industry. So again, Nate, really appreciate you coming on. It's been another amazing episode of Beyond the Crete. If you guys have any questions, reach out to one of us and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Pete.